Movies have heart. Boom, boom, boom. Have mind. Have power. Have ambition. I wanted to do something like that. Why not?
I like films that make me feel deeply. Movies are meant to amuse us. I enjoy movies that make me think. Movies are supposed to provoke a reaction. We are quick to condense cinema's intricate nature down to a single intention. Whether that's to amuse or to inspire, we all have our own definition of what cinema means. I believe there are 4 segments every film can fit into. Some films live to move us, and there are some films that work to stimulate our thoughts. Some films exist to entertain us, and some films function to challenge our norms. A form as dynamic as cinema should be appreciated for its complex and ever-changing fashion. It should be viewed as a medium that can adapt its form as desired by both audiences and filmmakers alike. Even films I might classify as entertainment might be discerned by others as a film that challenges. Some films combine these 4 categories, and others exist as part of just one. None is ever superior to the next, and one shouldn't be considered less of an art piece than another. So what do these categories mean, and what films do I believe fall under them? Well, let's talk about what cinema truly means.
And for me, the movies are like a machine that generates empathy. If it's a great movie, it helps us to identify with the people who are sharing this journey with us. And that to me is the most noble thing that good movies can do, and it's a reason to encourage them and to support them and to go to them.
When someone asks why something is their favorite film, we often say it's because it made us feel something. We can rarely ever describe why or how. We just sense it. The films that make us feel are often the most personal to us. Within this category alone, you have multiple ways a filmmaker can evoke an emotion out of us. Some sympathize with us in a general way, something akin to how Lean translates the universal pain of heartbreak and guilt with Brief Encounter. And others teach empathy through societal issues that only minorities might face, such as the loneliness of old age or racial inequality in Ali, Fear Eats the Soul. Movies like Cinema Paradiso inspire us by feeding into our nostalgia and yearning for the past. Then other films exist in the present, encouraging an appreciation in the simple things, allowing the feel of the movie and the character to draw out a deep, repressed emotional reaction out of us, like in Wenders' Perfect Days. Cinema that moves us promotes empathy, helps us process our pain, and inspires us to find joy in our lives. Moving cinema grounds us in our emotion. It enables stories to be translated by the heart rather than our attention span or our rationality. These films reveal cinema's power to influence us emotionally and act as a trigger to live or view life differently. These are the films that can change our lives.
I think what makes cinema to me, I think ultimately it's something that for some reason stays with you, so that a few years later you could watch it again, or 10 years later you watch it again and it's different. In other words, there's more to learn about yourself or about life. That's interesting.
This is arguably the category we most overlook. It's the hidden strength of what makes every art form a necessity. These are the films that need to sink in. It requires audiences to delve into the details of the film, into the questions that the film proposes, and into the answers we need to find within them. These are the films that make you think about the themes, the story, and how it is implied in your own life. Some films do this in the metaphorical sense, namely Zulawski's Possession, where the message is hidden under a layer of gory horror, or Buñuel's Exterminating Angel, where a simple plot point, almost gimmick, is used to deconstruct the banality of class structures and in the core question of what makes us all truly the same in the moments of crisis. Other films evoke a stream of thoughts in an absurd fashion, such as Kaufman's Synecdoche, New York, where he doesn't offer any course of logic and encourages us to make sense of it our own. And other films use symbolic imagery and visual motifs left to be deciphered, like in the distinct Valerie and Her Week of Wonders. This way of cinema incites a dialogue between artists and audiences. It encourages discussions, debates, and personal interpretation, and there is never a wrong answer. It reveals the importance of critical thinking and reminds us that meaning is relative, and we as complex humans have the right and freedom in thought and opinion. Stimulating cinema criticizes the notion that film should be consumed passively. It is an immersive form that wants your attention and, more importantly, demands your input.
The difference between a Kubrick and a Spielberg is more successful. His films make much more money, but they're comforting. They give you answers, always. The films are answers. And the success of most films in Hollywood these days, I think, is down to the fact they're comforting. They tie things up in nice little bows, gives you answers. Even if the answers are stupid, they're answers. Oh, you go home and you don't have to worry about it.
Underrated as an artistic expression, we underestimate the talent and power of pure entertainment. These movies seek to amuse and to distract you from reality. Existing in a fantasy world of unrealistic happy endings, they ultimately lie to comfort you. A noble intention for such a powerful medium. Entertainment can deceive us in simple stories that are filled with twist and passion, like Crow's Almost Famous. And others desire to shock you and built up anticipation, or more accurately, apprehension, such as The Exorcist. And some seek to offer a coziness in simplicity and familiarity, like Paul Thomas Anderson's love letter to youth and California in Licorice Pizza. And though many believe movies that exist to entertain are a cheap and unartistic expression, The Grand Budapest Hotel stands as a perfect rebuttal, proving that they are just as impressive as any other film. Movies that exist to amuse us are just as important. They offer comfort and a safe haven for those looking for escape and distraction. But that doesn't mean effort shouldn't be prioritized. Entertainment can easily coexist with quality and talent. Years of blockbusters such as The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and basically Spielberg's entire career proves this. Though seemingly more simplistic and commercial than others, these films hold an importance in our society. Without good films to entertain audiences, it leaves them with only somber and solemn choices, which will eventually lead to burnout. Entertaining films must exist to bring balance and to lure others to appreciate the form. After all, it's easier to convince people to return to the cinema with a digestible, fun film than a long-form, bleak and complicated one.
Zur Isabel gesagt, ich weiß es nicht mehr bei welcher Szene, so ideal wäre, wenn die Szene so ist, dass die Leute wegschauen, weil sie es nicht aushalten. Ne? Also dann geht es halt tiefer als übers Konsumieren hinaus. Nicht? Weil das Konsumieren hat auch seine Funktion, also ich schaue mir irgendwas an, wenn das gut gemacht ist und amüsant ist, konsumiere ich gern was den ganzen Abend. Aber hängt immer davon ab, welches Sujet ich behandle. Ne? Es gibt halt, wenn man sich problematischeren Dingen zuwendet, dann muss man sie auch in ihrer Problematik versuchen auszuloten.
Those who dare to use cinema as an experiment are those who push cinema's boundaries to its ultimate power. Films that challenge us are often the ones authority figures attempt to block us from, under the pretense of protecting us. But really, all they are doing is censoring a message they deem too powerful for the masses to hear and, more importantly, too dangerous to use. These are films that make us look away and has us pondering on the darkness that consumes our world, or has us questioning our very own principles and society. Whether that's revealing the uncomfortable truth of human violence like David Lynch's Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, or forcing us to question all that we understand about politics, hatred, and the sides we choose in La Haine. Films challenge us by inviting us into a world that we either avoid or know little to nothing about. These films juxtapose our understanding of life and forces us to reevaluate what we understand within it. But other films can challenge us in conventions, such as Lars von Trier's Dogville's Brechtian a minimalist approach, an approach that tests our ability to allow a story to reimagine itself on an almost empty stage, hence visually and narratively playing out like a psychology experiment on human virtue and our inherent mistrust and violence with each other. Some films break down the rules of filmmaking, such as Aronofsky's Mother, a film that places us in an immersive state of frustration by constantly inciting conflict in a claustrophobic atmosphere with no breaks in pacing to help us digest the story, showing us that deviating from conventionality is a choice made to provoke a reaction. This is the category of cinema that is ultimately the motivator to evolve as a form. The more we push the boundaries of filmmaking and of the stories we wish to tell, the more we reveal cinema's power and the more facets of filmmaking we discover. These films are a defiant stand against the norm. It's an artistic revolution to fight for the truth. Films that challenge you are benchmarks of artistic integrity, choosing the dangers of controversy to expose an idea that many try to hide from us. These films show us how cinema can be more than just an art form, but a commentary on our society and on the people who control it. The beauty of cinema doesn't exist in determinism. Cinema is an adaptive and anomalous art form that doesn't tolerate absolutes. It isn't just one thing, it's a mosaic. Just as cinema combines all the art form, it also fuses all of art's intentions into one. All these definitions, to entertain, stimulate, challenge, move, all of them have their time and place, and shouldn't be dismissed, compared, or underestimated. To boil down cinema into one intention, or to weigh a motivation's value against another, is to rob cinema of all its complexities and layers. Just as every film has multiple answers with no wrong interpretation, neither does cinema live for a singular, definitive objective.